Hey, what's up? We're in the next part. I want to be finished very quickly. But anyway, whatever. We don't know if we're going to get to do that. In the previous part, I highlighted just the decimating capacity of this bewitching tactic all over the show. It's not just witchcraft destroying careers. It's witchcraft forcing men and women to marry men and women that they did not sign up for. It's happening all over the show, okay? But the one that is currently uppermost in my mind is this one on in that upsets careers, because that's the one that God is currently highlighting and what's happening in the country. So the dream that I had then 10 years ago, I believe I've already highlighted everything in that dream that I could have. Yes, I did. I spoke about the swimming pool. I spoke about the bosses bewitching the subordinates. I spoke about the climate of magic. I spoke about the dude shooting down the soaring bird and what that means ultimately. I then got a dream, guys, about 2 or 3 days ago that was very similar to the one that I had at first, but this time around there were so many hard, painful elements because God was showing me the end result, the basically current result, the current state of corporate South Africa and what's happening in because of ignoring prophecy at first and because of starting this trajectory, this trend. Remember in 2011 or in my earlier days, I was among the young that stood to be afflicted by bosses, right? But now at 38, I'm among the bosses, or would be, if at all I had stayed in corporate South Africa, that would be afflicting kids. Struggling very much with jealousy against them because you feel as if though somebody's about to take over your life because now you're obsolete. Okay, you know, guys, loving Jesus, when you come into the kingdom of heaven, this is what happens for you, okay? Let me just evangelize you for a minute. Things like jealousy, because of the passage of time, due to what time does to a human being, get conquered by the understanding, recognition, and fact that this world is not all there is to embrace. And that we're gonna one day live forever, forever young, forever intelligent, forever innovating, forever coming up with new ways to do the day. And we will do this amidst a people that will never die, so we'll never feel pain, and in and of ourselves will never feel pain, and in and of ourselves will never die, So there will be absolutely no reason to feel as if though you have got just 80 years or just 70 years to be the best human being on the earth, that everybody's going to covet, everybody's going to herald, everybody's going to applaud for having done the best thing, so that you can have that for a legacy on the earth. When your legacy is eternal, there is no need for you to compete, because you will have eternity to be the best version of yourself that you possibly can be. You will grow in understanding and knowledge over the ages. Only God is omniscient. So upon dying and receiving incorruptible bodies and an eternal life, we don't have omniscience, meaning we will learn for eternity. And so there is no end. Literally, sky is not even the limit. Eternity is the limit as to what you can achieve. I do believe we will continue to work all throughout eternity. There will not be just this la-di-da, lackadaisical, lazy existence forever. God hates laziness. God's hate just a sedentary lifestyle. Even Adam and Eve were given a job on the earth. Angels have always had a job. God himself has a big job. Do you understand? So everybody's going to be working forever. God did not create people to merely laze around. Rest belongs to us as the kingdom of citizens, but a rested state is not necessarily a sedentary state. You all need to understand that. So eternal rest is not sedentary. It is productivity that is not toilsome and laborious like the woes of this earth. We're going to work forever. Just like Adam and Eve were working. God gave them a job. Name the animals, take care of the earth, look at this land, adore it. You've got dominion over them. That's your job. But when we fell, he said, by the sweat of our brow, that's how life is going to be. So labor is going to be rough. When the earth is all you got, when these 80 years are all you got, when these 70, 60, however long your life be, when that's all you got, you will be savage. You will be savage because you will want to be the best project manager in the room. And if you're not, you're going to knock down the dude that is likely going to defeat you at that exam. And so you are going to kill. You're going to be like Abel, not Abel like Cain. You're going to kill Abel When this earth is all you're looking forward to, you are going to resent that first fine line and that first wrinkle that rocks up. And so when that new 25-year-old intern comes into the office looking fresher than you, when you were once the one that caused all the heads of the men in the building to turn, you're going to hate her just because she's both pretty and smart. And she's also good at what she does. And so you're going to smother her. You're going to put chloroform over her nose so she can't breathe for 5 years. That you might be able to grow by 5 years while she stays stagnant. People have taken away an entire decade of my freaking life. So that's 10 years that they got to become what they want to become in corporate South Africa. So if I were to go back into the workforce, if some generous human being decided to give me a shot, I would start again at program/project management, when I should essentially right now likely be on a board of directors of multiple companies and maybe CEO of one by now. I should be a graduate, perhaps even at a perhaps master's, likely a PhD. But I'm sitting as an undergraduate. That is what under heaven people took away from me. So they get to gloat and flail their lackluster degrees because they made me sit down and be unable to study for 10 years. Yeah, you know why? Because all they're looking at is this earth, this fleeting concern, when I've got eternal life. Gather for yourself treasures in heaven where moth and rust do not destroy. That's what God says. Stop building and toiling for this earth, because then you will tend to sin. You're going to hate yourself aging, and the 22-year-old intern in the office is always going to make you uncomfortable if you don't foresee yourself as one day an individual that is going to inherit an eternal youth. That you will never age, that same 22-year-old, if she turns to Jesus just like you will one day be the same age forever. Even though when she started working for your company, you were 50 and she was just starting. You will ever envy and salivate outside of the lives of the up and coming. If you belong to God, you have got therefore access to an eternal library of information. Meaning that your fear and your fretfulness over the youth that has got more understanding than you because they have got the information age at their fingertips, that ain't jack in comparison to an eternity of knowledge with a superior, stellar, excellent, advanced cognitive capabilities because of the incorruptible body that we're going to have. There is no limit to what it is that we're going to be able to do in eternity. We are just going to keep on reaching from height to height to height to height. We're probably going to keep on, the mansion you will inherit initially in heaven, you will likely not be living in year 1088. You will probably be living in another one, or maybe building an extra room. It is this place where all of the innovative power that is inside human beings that God gave us as creative beings, we're going to be able to expand on it. We're going to be able to paint all the paintings we want to paint. So we will be better than Van Gogh, and we will be better than Picasso. If at all you are a dancer, you're just going to go from strength to strength. You're just going to get better and better over time. Practice makes perfect, but since there is no a limitation in heaven, practice won't even make perfect. Practice will just make you innovate brand spanking new ways to be or maintain perfection, because we're going to have perfect bodies. We will keep on learning for eternity, and we will keep on gaining and acquiring without ever aging. The 5-year-old today is one day going to be the exact same age as the 50-year-old today, if they both make heaven. The brand new baby that is still inside the mama womb is one day going to look exactly like Arabo in eternity. That's just the thing about wearing an eternal perspective. Competition loses its spunk. It loses its je ne sais quoi, guys. It loses its girth, its might, and its sting. So when you come to Christ, that perspective makes you less of a beast in corporate. It makes you less of a beast at school, in university. It just makes you less competitive. And it makes you accept that, hey, we fell. Adam and Eve fell. So now we crack. We get old. The pretty girl ain't so pretty no more after 10 years have progressed. And when you're in Christ, you take it in your stride, knowing and understanding that one day you're going to get an incorruptible body. This world starts to disrespect the elderly as they get old because they are heavy to take care of. In eternity, there's no such thing as a person that gets older. Everybody is having fun with everybody, and nobody ages. Nobody grieves the loss of their collagen production rate. Nobody grieves the loss of the rate of collagen production in their body. Nobody grieves the loss of estrogen production after menopause, because there is no menopause in heaven. When you get that perspective, you stop being a buffoon. Do you understand? You are therefore able to watch the 18-year-old matriculant with the 6 distinctions enter corporate South Africa after getting their degree and gladly help them along as a 50-year-old woman that's headed for retirement. You gladly help them grow, because you understand that if that matriculant turns to Christ with you, one day you will be the exact same age looking anyway in eternity. Goodness gracious, there are people from 1902, people from 1868 that will look exactly like me. Whereas if they had stayed alive all that time and made like Methuselah, they would be so creased, looking like a harmonica, barely recognizable from their days of youth, looking at me on some, oh, Garabaha, I wish I had your skin. That those same people are going to look exactly like me in eternity one day. Get that? So what has happened to corporate South Africa right now is a lack of that understanding. Feeling as if though I'm getting old, I'm getting worn out, get swapogile, ngare ke bogate black, etsenswe ka fara bleachy. You feel as if though I'm ancient now. Hey, when I was still in corporate, I was among the covetable age groups. I was in my 20s and I was doing well. Well, I'm in my late 30s now, and I could only imagine what my peers are doing to kids coming in. I could only imagine. All my friends from high school put witchcraft. Not even one of them, spared me. They are now that age where my boss was at when she decided that this 25-year-old ain't gonna get nowhere. They're watching interns fly like birds and they're shooting them down. They are the new my former boss. They are the beastly, menacing, occult practitioners inside corporate that are destroying the lives of kids, and they are refusing to let them grow because they don't have an eternal mindset. My dream was showing me all that, and what also ultimately happens to the middle-aged when they start to feel obsolete, when they start to feel as if they're getting overwhelmed and taken over by the youth. This dream was so disturbing, guys, that I told you guys that it was in a little bit of a raccoon city. It was a fenced-in area, and what that fencing in represents is God showing me basically an experimentation hub on a global scale in a country where they want to try and see if they cannot create a surveilled state out of dangling the carrot of belonging to corporate, insofar as you will abide by the rules. When I was starting out in my career, there was not so much social media and ability to surveil everybody, and there also was not a persistence on you holding to one particular rhetoric. Everybody could just be who they want to be. You could have a private life that was considered kind of taboo and still get promoted with nobody judging you for it. Now, if at all you're not a yes ma'am, yes sir type person, you can forget about growing in corporate. They're doing it. You see what's happening on YouTube. I be out here in these streets thinking that as metaphorically, I'm sort of kind of like an employee for YouTube, because I'm trying to earn revenue that way. I'm trying to become an online entrepreneur. So YouTube is my boss, but my boss ain't trying to help me grow. My boss ain't trying to let me get that promotion. My boss ain't trying to even pay me, because right now all I am is an intern. All I am is a volunteer. According to my boss, I'm a volunteer. But hey, I'm the kind of volunteer that hopes one day to, get hired permanently in the company and paid a salary so I can, get medical aid and stuff. And my boss is like, I won't let you do that. I mean, you can volunteer in my company as much as you want. Create a massive library for me. Get me what you want. But until you agree to do exactly what I want you to do and say what I want you to say and do the career that I want you to do, I'm not going to pay you. So you're going to stay a volunteer. So everybody that is busy creating content on YouTube that's getting nowhere because the but because the powers that be are shadow banning them, they're stopping them, they're blocking them. They're just volunteers in a company that they're working for free, scot-free. And this company has got the veto power to decide that they're going to start paying you a salary, hire you. Then you gotta reach the 1,000 subscriber mark, and you also gotta get those 4,000 watch hours. And YouTube can make a decision to not even let you get those 4,000 watch hours and that 1,000 subscriber mark. They can make a decision to refuse to let you get there, which is what they've done with me. Or if you get there, they can make a decision to stop paying you despite being there. They can demonetize you. Or despite getting there, they can also make a decision to just fire you by deplatforming you altogether. Well, if you think that this is happening only on social media, where they've got that kind of veto power over employees, it's also happening in corporate South Africa, likely also the world. So it is an experimental hub. It is a raccoon city, and South Africa has got hubs of it, and it operates largely within universities and corporate South Africa, from what it is that I saw in my dream. You do not get to be part of the system. It's literally the building blocks of the mark of the beast. You can't buy or sell. You can't do anything unless you agree with our rhetoric. So for now, before the mark of the beast becomes an actual chip in the brain, it is just an ideology. If you don't subscribe to it, you can forget about eating some bread, girl. You can forget about monetizing any of your platforms. We will keep you stranded at just under 1,000 subscribers, at just under 4,000 watch hours, and you will just continue to just produce all this work, and get nowhere. Why? Because you're not standing with our ideology. That was my dream. I'm gonna unpack it for you just now.